Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the City of Merrill Board of Public Works meeting. It is Wednesday, November 20th, 2024, and we are in the City Hall Council Chambers. It is 5:15. Next item on the agenda is consider approving the minutes of the previous meeting, which will be put into the next packet. Next item on the agenda is water and sewer agenda items. Discuss and approve water and sewer vouchers.
I'll make a motion to approve the water and sewer vouchers.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve the water and sewer vouchers. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is water and sewer operations monthly report from Utility Superintendent Steinago.
We finished all the replumbing on South Center. We had a problem with that, a leak this last winter, so we had it pieced together and got it all replaced now, so should be good for quite a while, quite a few years. We started the meter changes. We've been doing the lead and copper inspections. We've been getting a fair amount of calls to get in the houses, so it's kind of what we expected. The gate at the wastewater plant is up and working, so we got that all up today and fobs, and we're gonna look here in the next couple weeks for the septic haulers to, we're gonna have them purchase their own fobs, and if they break, then they have to replace them. And go with sampling and figure out some procedures for them to start using it after hours. We had 2 water service leaks that have been repaired, and we heard back from the DNR with our discharge permit, so they have a few things to do yet, and they will be posting it for public comment in the next month or 2 before it's approved. If anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Gabe? No. Okay, we'll move on to discuss and approve street department vouchers.
I'll make a motion to approve the street department vouchers.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the street department vouchers. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is agenda items for consideration. Discuss and consideration regarding the alley at 814 River Street. Dustin or Rod?
I guess if the gentleman would like to step up to the mic and please state your case, I guess.
Could you state your name and address for the record?
Yeah, I'm Don Voigt. I live at 1814 River Street.
Okay.
You know, you guys should be on our church board. You went through that agenda pretty darn quick. Boy, it's quicker than my church board does. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to talk with you guys about this. And also thank you for everything the Public Works Department does. I think sometimes we forget to thank people for that, and we concentrate more on the little problems that come up, but nevertheless, little problems need to be discussed. I had talked with Rod on the phone. I visited him once. I think you came out to the property to take a look at it. There's 2 issues there. First of all, the alley needs to be maintained, and for all practical purposes, it is not. Now, what do you mean by being maintained? Dustin was very kind to us, and he dropped off some gravel behind my garage for me, because I said, Dustin, this thing needs to be leveled out every week. So he gave me some gravel, and once in a while I'd go by there and I'd fill in the holes near mine or my neighbor's property and that. But it's gotten to the point where I can't even do that anymore. I'm running out of gravel. We had another neighbor that had collected a bunch of stones out of his yard. He came by and put stones in these holes. We put gravel over it, and still, it's an amusement park ride. We could take you for a tour of that and bring your car through there and see what we have to go through. Now, somebody was out there, what was it, Steve, about a week ago? And they put some gravel in there, and for the most part, the gravel's gone. We're back to an amusement park ride. Now, I realize it's a gravel alley, and I'm really not bitching and moaning here, but it's in terrible shape. The second issue from that is, because of the height and because of how that driveway is, if I'm saying it wrong, tell me, how it's level out, water flows right into my driveway and floods. I have pictures. It floods, actually, it comes within that much of my back door. Before we had that driveway put in, water came in right through that door into my sunroom, and we had to throw the rug out. So I, in my own little crazy mind, I call it a gutter with a perforated top to it, right at the end of my driveway. I dug a little hole, and I thought, well, maybe that'll help. It helps a little, but no way. That driveway gets totally flooded, and the water, because of how I had the sidewalk put in, thank God, the water just flows right. It's actually a river. It just flows. Something's got to be done there. I don't know if you guys can put in another kind of gutter there and have that water geared either, well, it can't go east, but it could go west. Unfortunately, that would bring water behind his yard. But something's got to be done. My wife, I don't know if you read the thing that I wrote out, but my wife almost fell there trying to get to the car because you're wading through water. Now, I know you had said initially there's probably nothing we could do. It's got to be something we could do.
Well, you're not going to like what I have to say, but I'll say it, because
No, I want to know.
your driveway is below the alley.
Yeah.
We're not going to lower the alley to the point where we convey water through the alley. We're not going to put curb and gutter in the alley. We're not going to put a storm sewer in there. I think you need to get the water off by cutting the sod beyond the west side of your driveway and trying to get that water into the grass. That's the only way it's going to infiltrate or even get around your house if it
Well,
gets high enough.
But the driveway is like this. It floats to the east.
Well, we didn't put the driveway in.
No, I'm not saying you did, Rod.
Nope, I'm just
Not
saying.
at all.
You gotta take
But
some
we did it to
responsibility.
the east, otherwise that water would be
Yep.
coming into
Yep.
the sunroom.
But even, I mean, you have a garage, you have a hard surface, looks like you're putting another garage to the east of your garage. Now, that water, I mean, it's gonna run downhill and your house is lower than the houses on Main Street. So, I mean, the water does run downhill. You gotta plan for some of that.
Well, the other shed we put up is on a gravel base,
Correct.
so that's not concrete. Now, granted, the garage is on concrete.
But granted, is considered impervious. I mean, you'll get some infiltration, but you have a lot built there. You have the driveway, you got the garage, and you got that. There's no place for that water to go. And I know where you put that trench in and put the hole on the
Oh,
west side.
you
of your-
saw that, okay.
On the west side of your driveway. I think maybe you gotta do a little grading in that topsoil to get the water around the west side of your house, because the only place it has to go is down your sidewalk. We're not gonna lower the alley to convey the
You
water.
can't tilt that alley a little bit so that
I
not
think, Dustin, you already did
Well, we've raised that alley enough to the point now where,
trapping water on
you're
the
trapping
north
water
side.
to the north, your neighbor to the north, I would argue, collects just as much water, and they have a pond all summer in
but
their
it doesn't
yard.
come in the driveway.
Well, it's because their house is higher than the alley. The lowest point is the point where their driveway meets the alley. You being below grade is always going to present challenges, so I don't really believe that adding any more material is going to help there. It's probably going to make things worse by trapping that water other places. Gravel alleys, as you stated, present all sorts of challenges for us. We can't really get a grader in the majority of them to actually grade and put a crown on the road. The best that we used to, but
Yes, you did.
right, we don't have the equipment like that anymore. Our graders are bigger than they used to be, so the best that we can do is really scrape them with that box blade, and keep in mind, we've got to have the right conditions for that. It has to be somewhat moist. It can't be a drought like we had this summer and try to cut, holes out of alleys. So it has to rain, has to wait a few days for the puddles to dry up so we don't drag mud back and forth. Then we grade, and to your point, yeah, they could be graded every week, but it takes us over a week just to do all the alleys in town.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
but
we would have a crew doing nothing but gravel alley aid.
are you
grading
saying all
summer.
the alleys are as bad as ours?
I'm saying we have some that are significantly worse than yours. Yours is a pretty
Wow.
nice alley considering. If you go to the west side of town, they're half as wide and even harder for us to grade. So, yeah, they are a challenge. There's no doubt about it. And the other issue is they're not like a street where we can collect rainwater in storm sewer, curb and gutter. Our goal is to get the water off the alley, which means it's going to go on private property somewhere, and you're in an unfortunate situation where you're probably the lowest point in that whole alley, I would assume. If we took a laser and shot it, I'm sure you're probably at the lowest point, so you're going to collect not only from the center line over, but from both ends. And so, like Rod said, I think the best we can do is try to get that water at least off of your hard surface and into your grass area, but it's going to take a little bit of shaping, probably,
How do
and
you
some
do that?
landscaping.
Because there is grass on the east side, and that's where the water starts and it backs up.
If you look at it, there's a lip of sod. The sod's probably that high above the gravel. Some of that can get cut away, and even along the edge of your driveway, or not your driveway, your concrete driveway portion, try to cut that sod down where the water can flow out into the grass, because that
So you're
lip,
talking about, even though the driveway's on an angle like that, do it on this side, try to
Yeah.
cut that.
try to get some of that over there too. And the trench drain that you put in, if you can, not that we can, but if you can get that to drain around the west side of your house, I haven't taken any shots on it, but it looks like you might be able to do something there, just to get the water out into the grass and let it infiltrate or get around your house if it gets high enough. Yeah, once it gets off the right of way, we're not going to be in your yard digging anything up.
No, I understand.
We'll help you as much as we can and give you ideas, but we can't make water run uphill. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Would you be able to come out at some point when I'm home and you could tell me what your suggestions are?
We can look at it again and.
I mean, I like to be there when you
Yeah.
do it,
Yep.
rather than just talk on the phone, but.
We can look at it again, but some of that stuff, you're gonna have to try to, with the garage being there and the hard surface, there's no place for that water to go.
You're not gonna go on his driveway and cut the back. He has to. do that.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, see, that's.
Oh, yeah, no, I know that, but,
Well, we'll try to give you some ideas and
yeah.
show you, what and why and how. We're not gonna put curb and gutter or storm sewer in an alleyway. When did you buy this property, or how long have you been there, or
Well, I've been there 37 years.
in that house?
No, next.
He's
yeah.
next door.
But how long have,
That property's been owned by our family since 1969.
and you lived there for,
We just made this permanent residence on this in 2017.
has it been an issue since then, or, has the new driveway?
Not as bad as it is now.
The new driveway exaggerate that because it's hard surface? I'm just asking questions here.
I would say it probably added to it a little bit.
Oh, sure.
Previously, that was a garage there where your sunroof is, right?
Yes, where the
Yeah,
sunroom
because
is, that was a garage.
You'd remodeled that. Now, when you remodeled it, did you keep the floor, I don't remember way back then, did you keep the floor height the same as it was? Or did you
The
raise
floor of the garage,
floor of that
Same.
sunroom?
same,
Yeah.
did not raise it.
And see, now on newer ones, when you build, that's why the city requires now that you've got to be 18 inches above with the floor to take care of these type of water
Oh,
issues.
really?
Yeah. You have to be 18 inches above the curb line. So with you being as low as you are, and like Rod said, adding all of that concrete for that driveway, you've gotten rid of any infiltration that you could have. That's why you need to try to push it to the grass.
Well, you
Get
probably
rid of
are
the
18 inches above the curb line out on River Street with your main floor.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
So I-
probably.
That's why I'm saying even if you had to cut some of the sod and reshape a little bit to the west to try to get it between the two of your houses, draining that way, it would be in your advantage or to your advantage. So we'll come out and look at it.
Can you let me know when you come so I can be there? I think you have my number, I'm not sure. But I can give you my cell number if you'd like it.
Sure, what is it?
630-254-7503. Of course, my name is Don Voigt.
Okay.
Great. Like I said, Dustin, thanks for what you've done. I still have some gravel there yet that I do use occasionally,
Right,
so.
we'll continue to maintain the best we can, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's.
What happens on those gravel driveways, you pull in perpendicular to the or to the alleyway, and you back out, and as soon as you're straightened out, you crank your tires. And every time you crank your tires, that creates a little spot that loosens up that gravel, you get a little rain in there, and it doesn't take much to get a small puddle, and those turn into bigger puddles every time. And there's nothing you can do, because you have to straighten out. You know, it's, and you could talk to your neighbors and ask for hard surface, but all that's gonna do is put more water on you.
Yeah.
And you guys would end up, we would assess you to pave the alley. So, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not something that we do as a cost to the city. It would be a cost to the homeowners there.
Homeowners, yeah. Okay, well, thank you for your time. If you give me a buzz and we
Dustin
can
and I will
set
both
that
come
up,
out there
that would
and
be
take a look.
wonderful.
You bet.
All right, great. Well, thank you.
Thank you. All right,
I trust I can leave, I don't have
Yep, yep.
Okay. Thank you so much.
thank you. All right, now we'll move on to monthly reports. City Administrator, Public Works Director, City Engineer Ake.
Any questions?
Moving on to Building Inspector, Zoning Administrator Pago.
Any questions?
Street Superintendent Bonak.
Someone's got to talk here. We're getting ready for winter, like usual, so, working on trees right now. Sand is mixed, salt's in the shed, plows are ready to go, so.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm done.
You're done?
Thought you were gonna talk.
You did, it was perfect.
Happy.
All right, and Street and Weed Commissioner Liberty is excused tonight. I'll entertain a motion to place the reports on file.
I'll make a motion to place the reports on file.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to place the reports on file. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Date and time of next meeting will be at the call of the chair, since it'll be December. Public comment period.
Henry?
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.